Hey everyone, Sean here, and welcome to another video. Today we are in the garage and not so much outside because of the weather. It's a little too cold, but plus it's gonna rain anyway, so it's about to get extra wet. So anyway, I thought we would, take it to the garage for this time and instead make up for something else that I wanted to actually show you guys at one way or the other. And kind of sucks that it's not outside, but we'll have to make it work here for the sake of the video. So today in the garage, I actually finished a project not too long ago, and I wanted to show you guys how it works and what is it and all that fun stuff in this little bit. So the subject of the video is actually this and a couple of other things. So what you're looking at is a hose reel of some kind. This is actually supposed to be a air hose reel. While yes, the appropriate hose is on here for the most part. I have a 50-foot Flexzilla hose right here, air hose, mounted into the reel, and this reel is mounted via some wood right here, and it's mounted to the wall with the posts on the garage. This hose is going to be actually be used for something else and not so much with air. So what I wanted to do for a while, I had this in my head for a while, and then channels such as like Cars with Keeve or just Keeve came up with a pretty neat setup for what's pretty much a stationary rinseless wash setup or system. So that pretty much like kind of inspired me to actually do the project and actually like make it a reality. So I'll take you guys like not so much step by step, but I'm just gonna show you guys like what's what and how I did it, I guess, and hopefully test it all in this one video. Oh, it's actually raining right now. So anyways, yeah, good thing we're inside. So let me actually take you guys a little close as I'm going to explain what exactly went down for this project here, and take you guys through all the relating pieces and stuff like that. So anyways, yes, this is the reel itself. To be exactly, this is the Amazon Basics air hose reel. But this time around, this is a manual reel, meaning that I have to crank it by hand rather than having this kind of reel, which is like an automatic reel. This is rated for a pressure washer, whereas this is rated for a air hose type of application, which is still fine, as I'm going to explain. But what makes this different, of course, is this is for pressure washer, so this is a higher rated for pressure. Obviously, you don't want to use a air hose reel for a pressure washer setup because likely stuff like this is not rated for that. So maybe you could get away with it for some reels. Maybe they just happen to be highly more built, but this is a $47 reel, so I don't want to like just I wouldn't want to risk it if I were to do that. But anyways, we don't have to worry about that. So like I said, this is a Flexzilla hose reeled into this. Attached to the hose is this quick connect right here, an air hose quick connect from also Quickzilla. I just happen to have this like sitting around, and then of course it's been taped around with the thread tape from Blue Monster. Same thing here as well. Getting this on was a little hard because of this part right here, which is to help guide and hold the hose itself, and of course this part right here, which is a little too long, but I managed to kind of like just force it through and kind of make it happen. But it's not the hardest thing in the world, but it's just annoying to deal with. But anyways, so let's talk about one of the more important parts of this whole setup, which is how it's mounted. So I got some 2x4 or 2 by whatever, and as you can see, it's pretty thick, just to be sturdy and stuff like that. And I put number 10 screws that are 4-inch into here, drove it into here using an impact driver to help make all that happen. And you can kind of notice, right, this is looking a lot cleaner this time, unlike last time where this was actually my first time in a long time to drill stuff into wood and stuff like that. There's actually a bit of an art to it. So that's why you can kind of see the wood splitting and all that stuff. I got lucky with these ones, but if you look closely, the wood is starting to split right here. So either way, I used the wrong type of screw for the wrong type of wood. It's hard to figure out what this is for me. So it looks like it's a more softer side. So going forward, I'll try to keep that in mind. So I'll try to get like finer thread screws, because I think these were pretty deep. These are like much bigger screws than something like this. This is a number 10 for the most part, and these are like much larger. I forget the measurements and stuff like that for this one, but they were too large. It still holds very well, mind you. I can't even like wiggle it. But that being said, all that being said, of course, I just happened to grab the right kind of screws and was able to get it all flushed in, stuff like that nicely. It did take a bit of time to try to penetrate and drive into the wood at one point, but I just kind of went back and forth, and then it went in. But yes, I did do a pilot hole though, for most of them anyway. I think my first one I was like, oh, okay, we need a pilot hole. So I just, did it and all that fun stuff. And for the screws that didn't quite go in, like I said, I went back and forth. It was already too late to make a pilot hole, I guess. So, or at least at the time, I didn't find the right drill bit to do a pilot hole. So I just kind of like winged it and was able to also cleanly mount or drive these fasteners into the wood. And this one only has one piece of this wood right here, and just feels just as sturdy, right? Very very well put in there. And this time around, I went with some bolts right here sticking out this way, unlike this one where I kind of just used the screws that came with the mount. So I used that at a time, which doesn't have any drive or anything like that, so I had to use a wrench for that, which was a nightmare. So I learned kind of that lesson, right, to just use a different kind of driver or thing. So it was best to do a bolt and nuts and some washers, and this made it a lot easier on me. So I was able to really make this a lot cleaner of a mount and of a job versus that. So I mean, it still works, it still holds for this one, but yeah, this one was a lot cleaner of a job. So anyway, that's the reel, right, of how it's set up. And then of course behind the reel is the lead hose or a whip hose from Flexzilla. It does have a ball swivel right there. Also thread taped and all that stuff. And then this is a 3/8, I believe, sized hose. That's the only one I can find at the time. And this all leads to, and I really do like the ball swivel right here because it actually like flexes nicely, leading to the next thing in the setup, which is this pump motor I had lying around for a while because I initially used this for another thing. I kind of like did a little experiment making a rinseless power wash, which basically is just a gravity fed setup for a pressure washer that a lot of mobile detailers use, except that I just put rinseless wash into the tank, and it became a glorified, super over-engineered rinseless sprayer, all in one kind of thing. So that motor was not used ever since until up to this point. I actually went ahead and grabbed this motor, which is a 12 volt, I think, or no, it's a 110 volt. It plugs into the wall motor, so it doesn't have the two little wires. It has the prongs that you put into the wall outlet or socket. So that's that kind of plug it is for this motor right here. And it is also mounted. I had extra wood and a couple of other screws that I initially thought would work. So that's why I went ahead and used this extra piece of wood right here. And this was the initial screws that I was using because I guess I ordered the wrong type of screw. And I thought, you know what? I mean, we can make it work, blah, blah, blah. You can kind of see what's going on over here. So this is covered with the silicone tie, which I thought would hold, which it did. But ultimately, what happened was this part of the screw is not threaded. So it's one of those types of screws that don't have the thread up here, but have a thread back there. So it's for a different application, maybe for like fencing or something like that, or whatever. But anyways, it was the wrong type of screw that I ordered from Amazon. I thought it would be a lot smaller and whatever, but it was like 6 inches for some reason, and yeah, it was way too long and all that stuff. But I made it work in a way, I guess. So I'm just kind of using it as a way to tie my silicone to help manage the hose and wires a little bit in the end. So I kind of salvaged that. It does have a star bit right here, a star bit drive. So it is one of the better screws, unlike this one where it's just a regular Phillips screw head right here, Phillips head. But ultimately, I bought just 2 more number 10 screws of the same size as here. And I just drove it into the wood right here, the post. And that ultimately made it way more sturdier than this. It held okay, but it was still wiggling a little bit. So I just went ahead and bought 2 more screws. So I put it right there and another one down here behind that wire right there. And as you can see the wire sticking out like that. So I used the silicone tie down here also because it's the same screw, the black screw. And I just kind of wound it up and then help manage the wiring and / hose a little bit. So yep, so that is also how I mounted it. But I mounted the motor to the board itself with the same number 10 screws. I also used some extra washers I had lying around to help fit with the feet of the motor. So now the motor is mounted to the board and the board is mounted to the post. So now, especially with the number 10 screws, this is also very sturdy. And when it comes to like the specs on the motor, I believe this will be spitting out about, let's see, it is on the motor, but let me see here. It is at 4 GP. It's rated for 4 GPM. I think this is up to, yeah, this is 50 PSI, 4 bar if you want to go that far. And then, yeah, so that is pretty, yeah, it's a 110 volt AC motor. That's another thing. It's not a DC motor, it's an AC motor. So when it comes to the actual hose connections right here, this one is just the mesh filter thing that came with the motor. But this is just a elbow that I had lying around. So I was just using spare parts. Yes, I could have used an actual 90-degree elbow, but I just decided that this is okay. It actually works out because it helps move this hose right here out of the way so that I can put my stuff right here, which is my wash buckets and stuff like that. So actually it kind of works out in a way. It doesn't get in the way as much for my stuff. So this elbow works out. This is a hose thread adapter to a 1/2 inch pipe thread, as this has pipe threading. So I convert that into a hose thread with this, which is how I'm connecting this with the quick connects right here, the garden hose quick connects, which are, by the way, are just regular stainless steel quick connects right here. And I have this adapter right here that has the garden hose threads to another sort of, yeah, pipe threading. This is a quick, or no, a 1/4 inch male connect right here from the hose. This is another 3/8 sized hose that came with actually this big guy right here. So I'm repurposing that for this case right here. So as you kind of see, the wire does lead up to here. And next up is actually just a switch, a rocker switch that I have here. This is kind of waterproof or water resistant, just in case something happens. But it's up here, so it's not much of a worry. And then I just kind of tied it up with some silicone tie. Once again, I love the silicone ties; they really come in handy, especially when you buy like a big pack of them. I just have it like mounted or tied up to this whole rack right here. This is actually a new sort of storage rack for the garage, which is kind of part of the setup, I guess, technically. But anyway, the switch will turn on this motor right here, which we will do later on in a bit. And then this is all connecting here and stuff like that. So anyway, let me explain though what I'm going to use for the gun, right? Which is this. This gun I have been using actually for my keg, my detail keg that's always been spraying rinseless wash. This is going to be what I'm mainly going to be using. So it does have a pretty big setup though, because you can just kind of see this gun is a little niche. I bought this off of Amazon along with this hose thread adapter to a 1/4 inch male little connector right there. This is a quarter inch pipe threading to a quarter inch pipe threaded female what do you call nozzle that has a very good misting application. I've been really liking this setup. Very fine mist. This is actually used for like gardening, so you want to like water your plants gently. It really does a good job misting a lot of product. So this whole setup is pretty cool once you get it all together. This adapter came with another gun that I believe is a 3/4 garden hose thread female to a male pipe threading thing. I don't know what the size of it is. It's the thing, unfortunately, because it came with one of the spray nozzles that also look like this, very similar, but yeah. So it might be 3/4 pipe threading right there, and then garden hose threading right there. Strangely enough, I don't know. Even though this is supposed to be a garden hose gun, they put pipe threading on the actual gun itself for some reason. So you have to have this adapter if you want to actually use it in that application. And even then, the fitting on here is a little questionable, but it doesn't leak, so I guess it works. And then following that is the McKillen's quick connect setup right here. It does have the automatic stuff right here, which I'm not going to do right now because it's one hand. But anyway, more adapters along the way. So this is the same setup right here. 3/4 hose thread adapter to 1/4 inch pipe threading female connect right here. And this little guy right here is from Flexzilla. This is a ball swivel quick connect right here. It does have a 1/4 inch male thread right there, along with of course the male quick connect piece right there. And it's supposed to kind of help swivel around for this gun right here. Makes it very nice and stuff like that. That is one way to make it swivel. You can buy a swivel piece right here, but this is a lot easier and saves time, so I just bought this one. I also had these lying around, so that's why I forgo the usual ball swivel part for the hose itself. So instead, I just bought this part for the guns. And that way, I can actually adapt any garden hose gun, theoretically, to this piece and use it onto here if I want to do that in the future. So that's why I do this setup. It's very flexible once you get it all set up, and it's actually pretty fun to try out different garden hose sprayers or guns or whatever you want to call them, and connect it to here to see what's the best sort of rinseless wash setup when it comes to the stationary side of things. So anyways, this is the gun I'll be using for that. So I'm gonna, now I'll just put it right here. So leading the connection over here, now it's just a bunch of mumbo jumbo wires in the back, hidden in the back. And it leads to right there, that's where the power is going from, or coming from. There's a little old wall outlet right there that still works. Okay, so I'm gonna explain what's going on with that keg later on. But anyways, yeah, so you can see the hose leading from all the way, following that wall right there, past my fridge, going all the way over here to here. So for those who follow the channel, you may recognize this. This is my main keg that I use for my rinseless applications. This is my detail keg that I've been using for a while now. Just a soda keg / beer keg repurposed into a rinseless wash sprayer. Previously, it did have a airless keg spraying system, which is basically a big motor mounted onto here and helps spray the product out without having to use a air compressor to pump air into the keg itself, right? So it's all connected to here, right? You can kind of recognize what's connected to here. This is a keg quick connect with a flare threading adapted to the pipe threading, 1/4 inch, all that stuff. And this is kind of just like a female connection to help make it all happen. This time around, oddly enough, yes, I am using the gas side, which is supposed to be gas in, but I actually have a hose, which I can open here in this case, like that. I have a hose actually connected there and leads to the bottom of the keg, so it actually works also as an outlet, if you will, for a liquid out. So yeah, that's essentially the basics of my now stationary, hopefully it works, rinseless wash setup here. So this tank is one of the main parts, of course, to store all the water, distilled water, and whatever rinseless wash I want to use. So yeah, that's all of this leads to over there. Oh wow, the sun is out. So yeah, anyway, it all leads to over there. So, and for those who want to wonder what happened to my airless keg system, good question, because it is now being repurposed for this smaller keg that I bought early on. This is a 2.5 gallon keg, same thing, soda keg, beer keg, whatever you want to use it for. I essentially just moved it to this smaller keg right here, and then it even has this hand cart right here with fully swivel wheels, so that's pretty cool. And basically everything you know about the airless keg system is onto this small keg, and I'm going to use this as my now mobile keg whenever it calls for it. So I could use this for like all-purpose cleaner, or like a pre-wash before the rinseless wash, anything like that. Or if I want to go as far as like doing a comparison video, maybe I could bust out both the stationary system and the airless keg system to help me with the rinseless wash comparison videos, maybe, but otherwise I'll just use different electric sprayers just to make it a little easier because of how long the hose is for the stationary setup. So this is going to be a lot lighter though of a setup when it comes to the mobile side of things because it is using a smaller tank. At the time I thought 2.5 gallons was enough for me. You know, I can get away with it at times, but there are some times where it kind of calls for it for more rinseless wash because I tend to use a lot when I'm cleaning the vehicle, right? So I use rinseless wash as my lubricant along with iron remover, just to kind of keep the car wet, keep it from drying out, all that stuff. So I use rinseless wash to like keep it not only lubricated but also wet, so that the surface doesn't get too messed up from like marks or any like spotting or whatever it is. Yeah, so the motor now has a new home basically, so it's on this smaller keg right there is the main outcome for this time. Yeah, so pretty nice actually, like I said, because it's a lot lighter. I do have to be a little more careful with the balancing though because this is such a light keg that the motor actually can tilt it back and forth a little bit if I'm not too careful, which is why I have this bungee cord to make sure that that doesn't happen. So anyway, yeah, so it's a very mobile, nimble setup with no plugs or anything like that. It's just, it still has the same airless keg system. I'll link a video of like how that works or how it was set up and stuff like that. It has like a motor, it has a battery in here to make it all happen, so that I don't have to pump any air into the keg itself and solely rely on air pressure itself to drive the product out of the sprayer. I just now use the motor and then just go. You know, it's essentially a glorified sprayer, pretty much. It's a very expensive and yet very elegant setup when it comes to spraying rinseless wash. So I've been really liking it. I've loved it whenever I did have it on the bigger 5-gallon one right there. And yeah, but you know, I just thought, you know, it is time for something a little different when it comes to rinseless washing, especially with kegs. So that's why I thought about doing a stationary setup like this. That way I don't have to like lug around the tank too much. There might be times where I just want to like quickly spray something without having to move the tank around, and it's just something different. And I mean, does everybody need a stationary rinseless setup? No, absolutely not. This is just for me. It's just something I wanted to find out to see if it works, if it's applicable, and if it's something efficient in my routine as a DIY sort of hobbyist detailer or a detailing enthusiast. Now, with all that yapping out of the way of explaining how it was all set up, how they gotta get it all mounted, all that stuff. I know there's like extra stuff that I want to mention, but that'll take up more time. So anyway, mainly though, yes, now I potentially have a working stationary rinseless wash setup thanks to the reel, all this hose, the wiring, the pump motor right here I had lying around, luckily, the detail keg over there, all that fun stuff, and some swearing along the way, because yeah, when you're doing garage projects and something gets a hitch, yeah, that tends to happen. So anyways, now I have, when you walk back, I have this beautiful little wall right here full of like detailing stuff, so you can see like the buckets. There's my pressure washer right here, the reel for that pressure washer, and now I have a reel for my rinseless wash, hopefully. So yes, now let's get it all set up and test it out and show you guys how it all works. All right, so to get it all set up, I'm actually going to put the rinseless wash into here now, and then use that for the next detailing that I can do, which is probably the next weekend, unfortunately, because it is raining, or it's going to rain again, not far from now. So, funny enough, this is going to be a very odd first impression with the new or newest rinseless wash on the market, I guess, from Quiver. Quiver is I'm Josh V's brand or branding of detailing products that he has in his lineup. And this time he has his own rinseless wash now called Indo. Very interesting name. He uses a lot of surfing terms and stuff like that, and other such relating terms in his life. And if you look in the back, it asks for 256 to 1 for pretty much your standard wash, just like any other rinseless wash. It does say it is a lubricious hybrid rinseless wash product that cleans and provides slickness, leaving some sort of minor protection. We're going to actually use this as a part of the setup because if I were to just go with distilled water, all this hose is going to get charged with distilled water, and so it's going to make it hard for me to it makes it a little harder to get the rinseless wash going, because otherwise, yeah, I have to wait for all the water to get discharged, and yeah, it'll be a waste. So I'm going to go ahead and get ahead and put the rinseless wash into the hose but before I do my next detailing. So anyways, all right, I'm gonna open up the bottle and probably give it a good smell. Like I always do with other rinseless washes. Okay, let's open up the cap right here, and then here we go. Oh wow, it actually, interesting fruity scent. I don't know what it is exactly. It might be like blueberry or something with a bit of something else. It also smells tropical, so I don't know actually. It might be just another tropical mix of scents. It smelled like a little blueberry-ish, but I smell more like bananas and like other like sort of tropical slash other fruits in there. So it's like a cocktail full of other fruity scents, it seems like. So anyways, that out of the way, let's go ahead and fill it up with I don't know why I closed off the cap. Anyway, let's put that. So we do have 3 gallons into the tank. So let's go ahead and do 1.5 ounces of the product. So like so. Very reminiscent of O&R in terms of color. Maybe a little darker than O&R. Does have a milky appearance. Let's put it right there. Get another whiff of it. Nice fruity scent, like I said. And then, yeah, let me make sure that it is about 3 gallons. Yeah. Make that all happen, Captain. There you go. Yes, sir. It has a little bit of surfactant, I think. So it will be able to have some cleaning capability to do a rinseless wash. All right, I guess for the sake of time, I'm just gonna go ahead and grab my this end of the brush, my detailing brush. I'm just gonna go ahead and stir that around, give it a good mix, and then we go ahead and close this off, right? But before we do that, actually, there is a bit of a note that people should take into consideration. It's hard to do it with one hand. Anyway, so if you're gonna use a motor, a pump motor with your detail keg, make sure you have the safety valve open, just so in case it does build up some sort of back pressure or whatever pressure, right? Because I heard that airless keg setups tend to add air as you use it more and more. So you definitely want to be careful, because at one point it's going to be filled up with air along with the air liquid. So while yes, the safety valve should be working at that time, just to make sure, just keep it open, just so it doesn't, we don't even have to get to that point. You can also just leave it open, but I like to just, keep things clean of like dust or anything like that, to, not to have it come into the tank or anything like that. So that's why I'd rather close it off, open up the safety valve, and there you go. And then hopefully don't forget to close it back once we're done. So we had the tank set up, all filled with rinseless wash. And like I said, it's all of this hose right here leading up to our hose right here. Okay. And then, okay, so to kind of hold the product from spraying everywhere, we're gonna spray all of our testing procedures into this gallon pouring cup right here that I always use. And when I'm pour it back into the tank once we're done. So that way we're not wasting anything. So without further ado now, once I turn on the motor, it's gonna go. So that's why I'm gonna have to be ready to do all this. So let's go ahead and attach the gun first, and then pull the reel a little bit, just so we have enough to work with here. And then I guess we can spray here like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the rocker switch right now. Hopefully it turns on. 3, 2, 1, here we go. Hopefully no leaks. Okay, the motor is going. It should be charging up the hose. It is a long one, so it'll take a bit. All right, there's some noise happening. All right, oh. That's what I thought was gonna happen. Okay, so unfortunately this elbow connector right here, I actually forgot to mention at one point, is leaking right there. So we're gonna have to do something a little different with this elbow connection right here, or actually just like forgo it. So we're gonna, for now, temporarily take out the elbow, and then use this to directly connect to that. So I'll be right back. Yeah, so this elbow connector right here, I know this gun is in the way, so I'm gonna go ahead and move it for the sake of the video. All right, so this elbow connector is from Home Depot. I guess unfortunately it does not work. I may want to I'm gonna try one more thing before completely forgo it. I think one of the O-rings is not cleanly sealing the things, so let me go ahead and undo it for right now. I think it's this way, yeah, which is kind of unfortunate. I mean, good news is that everything else is almost working. It's gonna be kind of a pain in the butt because it might be leaking product out of there. Yep, like that. But luckily there's no electronics down there, so we're okay for right now. So we're gonna, where's my gallon cup right there? There we go. Let's go ahead and discharge it through here, so that way we're not causing too much of a mess. Right there. And let me see if we can, yeah. I actually purposefully added an extra O-ring right here, or O-ring gasket, just to prevent this from happening, but actually I guess it's not working out. So what I'm gonna do now is just see if the one O-ring that actually came with would work. If not, then we can completely eliminate the elbow for the time being. Now I think what's happening too is that because the elbow is not like flush completely somehow, like, yeah, even if I tighten it like as much as possible, it's still like kind of wiggling around a little bit, like to that certain extent. let's see if it'll leak. So let me see what's gonna happen here. Okay, maybe it actually now works with the one O-ring. So maybe I actually maybe overcomplicated it. So let's see what happens. Oh, we got some life. We got some life. Okay. We do have a bit of a leak. It's okay. It is still quite leaking. Okay. Woo. Okay. Okay. Oh. Woo. All right. All right. Let's try to save all the liquid as much as we can. Okay. And then let's keep the cup on the bottom, just so we can. Well, unfortunately, the elbow does not work at all. So we're gonna have to get a different elbow connector if we're gonna try to do a clean sort of connection right here. But I think what I'm gonna do is do something a little different for this connection right here. I think I'm gonna actually do a different kind of elbow connection, but for the time being, I don't want to sound like a broken record. Let's get this liquid once again discharged into the cup. This is a testing video, guys, so this is gonna be a long one. This was meant to be a long video, just to kind of show what it's like to do projects and stuff like that. It's all about trial and error, and you gotta keep trying until it works. So let's take out the elbow for right now, and then let's move around the hose a little bit so that we can, okay, now we need to do this sort of formation. So let me get a little more liquid out before we go further with this. Okay. I think what I'm also gonna do is add a like a valve for one of these hoses anyway. Probably, especially with like the lead hose, I'm probably gonna add a valve, like a shut-off valve or something, just so in case something happens and I can like do an immediate shutdown. So we're gonna have to now arrange the hose like this instead. I'm gonna have to do like a loop. I'll show you guys. I'll get you guys a wider shot, but once we get all set up here, and hopefully this works, right? That's the first, most important thing. Okay, now hopefully this will not leak like crazy. And let's go and manage this hose a little bit, like that, and they'll probably just do it like this. Yeah, there you go. Now that'll be fine enough for now. Okay. All right. So this doesn't look as pretty of a wire or hose management terms, but this will have to do if this works, which I'm sure it will, better than this stupid elbow connector that unfortunately is not working. It just leaks like crazy. I mean, I don't know how Home Depot still sells stuff like this when it comes to. I think maybe the issue is that maybe the O-ring isn't completely flushed in there. I have to like push it in there, either with my fingers or the tool, but we'll worry about with that later. So let's go ahead and grab the gun and then grab our cup or jug. Okay, and then, all right, so here we go. And now, voila, look at that. No leak, this works. Woo! We got it working, baby. Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. So you can kind of see. Woo! Look at that. So there you go. That's my Rinseless stationary setup, guys. So let me adjust this nozzle a little bit. There you go. We have unlimited power because we're plugged into the wall. So we're not going to run out of anything except Rinseless wash. And that is my Rinseless wash setup, guys. It's pretty cool. I guess the only thing about it is that the motor does vibrate. But that's I mean, that's the sort of the baggage that that'll come with when it comes to dealing with these pump motors anyway. So that's awesome though. It's actually now working. I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy. There's no leaks. There's like absolutely no leaks anywhere else except for this part right here. So pretty nice, pretty nice. You can kind of see with my headlamp right here. The only thing now is to get an actual, like, legit elbow connector it's like a solid piece to get it onto here and then connect it through here instead of having it connected to there. Maybe that will probably work a little better, but we'll worry about that later on. But yes, look at all this. Look, man, I'm so happy. I am actually really happy that this works. So let's get a wider shot of it working. So there you go. Here's another wider shot of the stationary Rinseless setup. And there you go. And that's how it all works, man. So imagine this cup being the car, right? So yep, I sprayed that much of product already. So we're looking at 1,000 milliliters already. So exactly 32 ounces. So we sprayed 32 ounces for the test here in this entirety of the test. So yep, that's it, guys. That's the test. This is the setup. How I set it up. Testing, a little bit of a hitch along the way. We fixed the hitch. And there you go. Now it's all beautiful, working beautifully. Woo! I'm so happy, guys. So all I have to do now is just adjust the nozzle, and then take it out to an actual detail someday. So next weekend, it's gonna be pretty exciting. So before I go put all this back into the tank, thank you very much. This has been the sort of the walkthrough of how I got this all set up, what it is. The only thing I didn't explain is, I guess I'm going to explain it to you now. So I forgot to explain this part, or what it's supposed to be. So there's supposed to be an elbow connector right here, but this stupid piece is not sealing up tightly. So what's happening is that the O-ring is not sitting well enough with this part right here, and it's actually causing it to leak, like we were seeing just now. So I just now did a much more direct connect from the whip hose to here. And let me turn on the light so you guys can see a little better. So this is kind of a special quick connect that I have lying around in the garage. So this male quick connect actually has a female garden hose thread receiver, and it has a male quick connect right there. And then when it comes to this part, it has a male garden hose thread, but with the female quick connect right here, which leads to this adapter, which has a male 1/4 inch part right here with a female garden hose thread receiver right here for this adapter, so that it connects all with this whip hose right here. So this I don't want to disconnect it because it'll spill the liquid a little bit. So that's what it looks like. Kind of a different quick connect, but it's still a quick connect at the end of the day, and it actually is working pretty good as it's pressurized. So Again, I'm going to find a different quick connect. Hopefully, that'll get eliminated because personally, I don't like this kind of setup right here. But funny enough, if I were to do this still, I mean, it actually looks kind of decent, right? I mean, it looks decent, but I'd rather have a more clean, like, hose setup like this versus kind of like that. It does look funny, and it works, but yeah, I'd rather change it up a little bit later on. So we'll see. We'll see about that if I can find a suitable elbow piece right there. So, all right, thank you very much. This has been my sort of walkthrough of how I, got to this point, including the mounting, the stuff that I have, what I used, the motor right here, and then all this flexilla hose leading to the tank over there. So there you go, man. I have now essentially my garage is essentially a rinseless wash sprayer, if that's a way to think of it, right? Which is really funny. I could actually convert the tank, instead of using a tank, I can kind of actually use my gravity feeding system, the tank, right, which is basically a trash can, and store even more rinseless wash and do it that way. But that's going to take up a lot more room. So it'll be a little bit of an overkill when it comes to using a lot of rinseless wash to mix in and stuff like that. So yep, that's all. If you have any comments, leave them down below. If you have any questions, in case you want to like build it yourself in your garage, I'll try to do my best to answer them. And yeah, I'm really happy that it's all working now. So pretty damn nice that this is a thing now. So I kind of need to like put up like a holder for my gun, like right there. That'd be kind of nice somewhere. I guess I can put it right there, but I should find a designated like sort of gun or a garden hose sprayer holder thing, because otherwise it could get a little messy potentially. So anyways, comment, like, subscribe, really helps out, and I do appreciate it. So again, this has my working stationary rinseless wash setup. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Sean out.